I swear to whatever gods are listening, I don't want to see that. I'm gonna be real upset about it. There's really nothing I can do other than yell at you through the camera, but this isn't the Renaissance anymore, you know what I mean? Hello. You're currently in my cabinet because I need to make some leftovers. I'm hungry and I don't really have a lot of counter space to like set up a tripod or put anything down, so this is what we're gonna do. Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I'm trying to be better and recommend things that I actually really enjoy on here because that's like part of the vlogging lifestyle. And sure, if you're not into that, you're not into that, that's fine. But I'm trying to get like more comfortable talking about the things that I like because that comes with the territory, and eventually love to have sponsorships and things from certain brands that I really like. So these are BrewMate cups. I love them. If you're a klutz like me, they're perfect because they have a little lock on them, and so they're leak proof with a straw. Like, I can just spin it and go, and I take it anywhere, which is perfect for me because I just throw them in my crochet bag and I don't have to worry about it like damaging any of the yarn or stuff that I have. It just all goes into a bag. So I'm also a big fan of this. This is the Era. I got the 40 ounce because she's a thirsty hoe. This one has a metal straw, but a silicone mouthpiece. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna make myself some electrolytes, and then I have just the good old movie theater cup from, where is this? Cinemark? Cinemark. I'm gonna make some tea that I had. So these are, I made a boysenberry tea from stuff from Knott's Berry Farm, and then this is just regular. I think I went the boysenberry today. I'm from the South though. Teas are never good enough out here for me, so I make them myself, and I got these. They're like mason jar infusers. You can see how much I use this thing that is stained from tea. I take just like the big mason jars, which we have a ton of them because witchy apothecary, duh. And you like do this, and then I'll just put for one of these, it depends on which tea I'm making, but it's anywhere from 10 to 15 bags of black tea. And then I have the electric kettle that I just fill all the way up and leave this for like an hour. Just let it like, and then I'll take them out and I'll put sugar or whatever I'm sweetening with. It's typically sugar, but it's like a concentrate. So if I'm doing it in here, I'll fill it to like here, and then I fill the rest with water. Yeah. We also have the world's worst water pressure in our kitchen. Whatever. She's still filling. Like I said, it'll be 10 to 15 bags of black tea. I did boysenberry this time, so I have one black and one boysenberry, but I'll do that, and then I'll do like a cup to a cup and a half of sugar. It depends on the tea, because some of the teas are very like, they need more. But typically it's just like a cup of sugar, and then you just shake it and then fill it with water. If you're one of those people that just doesn't like a lot of sugar, do less. I'm not your mom. You know, but that's how I enjoy mine. Good old Southern tea tastes like diabetes. That's what's good for me. This is like the Thai coconut chicken. I take like one of the chicken. It comes with like 3 or 4 chicken breasts in there. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's shareable for like a family, but it's definitely fine for me to have like one meal and then another one. So this is all of the sauce that's left over and just one of the chicken breasts. And then we had shrimp pasta last night, so I have a bunch of leftover pasta, which, riddle me this in the comics. In the comics. Just tell me in the comments. Do you keep leftover pasta? Like when you make it, are you making pasta just for one portion, or do you make extra? I love pasta salad, like mayonnaise, mustard, Old Bay, because of Baltimore. And I'll like put all that together. So whenever I make penne or like farfalle or even elbow, oh my God, we eat so much. Austin doesn't. I eat a ton of elbow macaroni. So I have leftover pasta. Do you do that too? So I'm just gonna microwave this real quick. Pasta, holy hot balls. Hi, I'm squatting in front of my cabinet right now. I don't feel like using a real bowl today. We got these mixing bowls. They're bigger, and I'm just gonna use that. Sue me. Or I'm gonna destroy my apartment. Who knows? Oh, this sauce looks so good. Perfect. All over my face, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat, drink my tea, drink my electrolytes, because I am really dehydrated, especially moment of stuff here. If you're an American, which I feel like a lot of people who watch my videos are from America, according to my analytics, except for those of you that I have some from Great Britain, apparently. Welcome. G'day. That's Australia. I'm so sorry. America's kind of a mess right now. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate, rest, do what you have to do. Obviously, this is a very queer-friendly channel because, you know, like, trans. I'm a proprietor. I am a big fan of encouraging rest and taking a second, and just want to remind everyone that this is a craft and witchy channel, which means it will always be meant to be a safe space where we can just kind of like chill. I call it the neighborhood for a reason. I say, hey neighbor, for a reason. Like, I want this to be a safe community for everybody. So grab yourself a beverage, maybe have something to eat, chill, take care of yourself for a little bit, and then we can come back. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you're either crafting as well, or you're having something to eat and just kind of like taking care of yourself. And I would love if that was how we did this, because like, I'm a mess at all times, and I always say, like, I'm not your mom. I'm not in charge of you in any way, but if I find out that you are not taking care of yourself, I'm gonna be real upset about it. There's really nothing I can do other than yell at you through the camera, but take care of yourself, because I love you and care about you, okay? I'm gonna go eat my lunch, and then we're gonna actually start crafting and crocheting, which is what this vlog is supposed to be about. Bye. I said I would be back and then I wasn't. I also tried to film this part like 3 times now because 1, my microphone wasn't working, and 2, I couldn't get my thoughts together. So anyway, I'm working on the second panel of this hood pattern, and the goal is to finish this by the start of the next vlog so that I'm like ready to move on, because we only have like a week-ish left of this month, which means that I have to actually put all this stuff together and get it to work the way I want it to if I want to stick on my goal of designing this pattern by the end of the month. Given that doesn't mean that I have to have it tested or written out or anything like that. It was literally just the design portion of it, and then I can start doing the rest of it at a little slower pace as I go along, right? Here I started with the green on this side from Wish and then into the 8 is Great, so that it is the opposite. Like when I hold them up together, it will be like one continuous, you see what I mean? Like the panels go across, and I love it. It's taking me forever to do this. I haven't really been timing it, but it's across 2 vlogs and me editing things. So I want to say that I'm at like 40-ish hours between the design process and actually like crocheting things and putting it all together. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is a pattern that I'm like making and frogging and figuring it out as I go. So it's a lot of like math and brain stuff and things that I always forget are actually part of a pattern that make it a lot harder to do. So, that being said, I have like 6 more rows. Well, not rows, color changes of this, because the way that I'm doing it is each one of these I'm counting as like one thing to go, and so it was 8 total things, and then the middle join here, which if you want more specifics on it, I haven't decided if I'm going to release this pattern for sale yet or if it's just going to be a Patreon exclusive thing. Like obviously I'm going to be doing testers for it because we all saw my last vlog and how I feel about testing, but there is some confusion in the rooming here at Shiz. There's been a hot takes going on the crochet community or the fiber arts community in general, thread specifically, where they've been talking about patterns, and there's been a lot of designers recently who are finding out that people are buying their patterns, like one person will buy it and then just share it with a bunch of friends. And I feel like this goes without saying, stop it. Why would you do that? That's so unethical and so terrible. Like these designers that are making these things are not huge businesses. A lot of them are small businesses. A lot of them are not making crazy money from this. Like, I completely think that it is unethical to put your pattern out if you're not testing it, you're not editing it to make sure it's a good product. But I think it's also unethical from the consumer side if you're buying a pattern and then just giving it to people. Like, that is wild to me. I sat down yesterday and was just like going through the thread conversation and listening to what people are saying, and I'm probably on the outs for this, but I firmly think that patterns are actually too cheap. I know that a lot of people don't want to pay $5-6 for a pattern every time they find one, but I disagree. I think if you like a pattern and you want to make that item, if you didn't figure out how to design the pattern yourself, then you should absolutely be paying these people who've put the work and put the effort in to make this thing happen. Now, just this as an example. I just said I'm at like 40-ish hours of designing this, and I work 2 jobs. So I'm doing this on top of my regular day job. My goal when I make patterns is to sell a pattern, to sell 100 of that pattern. If I'm gonna sell 100 patterns of this, not counting tech editors, not counting any of the editing time that I put in to like make the actual ebook of the pattern and all this other stuff, not doing any of the formatting, 80 hours just there, that means that I would have to sell this pattern for $18 each before I even broke even to just sell 100 of them. That's unheard of, right? I totally think it's worth it, and I absolutely think that there's plenty of people that are releasing patterns that are like $5 that I would pay 3 to 4 times as much as that. I come from the sewing world. I come from costuming and pattern making there. Like, they're so expensive, and they don't come with half of the resources that these patterns currently do, and we're still paying more for those. So I don't understand why something like this we can't. Now, given, I completely understand that like a cup koozie, people aren't gonna wanna pay $20 for a cup koozie pattern. Those I completely understand, like being a $5 or whatever pattern, but the idea that a shawl, more than just like a basic linen stitch shawl, you know, like a shawl that actually has design in it, or like texture and effort in these patterns that you're putting in. I don't think that there's anything wrong with taking a cardigan, especially knit, like the crazy knit work that they have where it's like all of the crazy color designs. I'll put something on the screen, like things like this that pop up. I don't think that there's anything wrong with them wanting to charge $20, $25 for a design like that. Like, yes, you have to make it yourself, but also, are you buying a cookbook? Are you paying for a recipe? Are you renting a movie? Are you doing any of these things? Like, you can rent a movie that costs more than these patterns work, and you don't even get to keep the movie. Like, it's just a one-time watch. Or somebody pointed out on Threads, there's people that'll spend $35, $40 on Postmates and buy themselves food, and paying $10 for a pattern is too much. And I think that they absolutely should sit out the conversation when it comes to stuff like that, because these are small businesses, you know what I mean? These aren't huge companies that are making millions of dollars and this is all they're doing. Like, these are small businesses that are doing so many different things to try and survive, and they're competing with Etsy and they're competing with all these things. If they're doing their due diligence, they're also dealing with customer reviews and stuff like this, where they're trying to just market themselves in an algorithm that doesn't like them, and you're gonna sit there and be like, no, $5 is too much, let me just take the pattern and share it with my friends. Terrible. And I swear to whatever gods are listening, I don't want to see that in my community. Like, my community is small, I know that. I know there's not a lot of us, but I don't want to see that. I want to see uplifting. I want to see people supporting things, because these artists have helped me more than you would know. Like, some of them offered to tech edit for me. Seismic Yarn gifted me this yarn to work with here. I couldn't have afforded to do this challenge if these designers weren't offering some support. Like, I wouldn't be able to do as much as I want to do for this channel and get as much done. So support them, pay them, don't ask for discounts for everything. Like, you've got to be willing to put your money where your mouth is with this. Like, you can't in one vein complain that there's not enough happening in the community. You can't say that there's not enough support or options and then not support when they're out there. I completely understand that some of these things are out of everyone's price point, but I also think that that's a discussion that needs to be had. I think that we need to stop putting the blame on the artists, the designers, the crocheters, the yarn dyers, whatever, when something is too expensive for us. there's a difference between saying that this item is overpriced and this item is out of my budget. And I think that we really need to be more comfortable admitting that to ourselves, because some of these people that were commenting on these posts are like, well, I asked my friend to borrow their pattern or if I could just have a copy of it because I didn't have $6 to spend. Okay, I totally get that you don't have that money right now, but you can't push and wait a week to do it. You can't wait and see if the designer is going to be offering a sale or anything, or just like save up for it. Like if you're eating fast food or doing any of these things in there, but you can't support the artist that you like, I'm confused. If you're shopping at big box stores like Target and whatnot for just whatever, but you can't give money to these companies that are actually putting so much effort into do these things for you, I don't get it. I just think it's really shitty to be a designer and see your patterns for free on someone's site, or find out that people are just sharing it and they think that you're a bad person or you're gatekeeping fiber arts because you're charging for your work. Like, I didn't have to design this. I didn't have to put all this effort in to make this pattern and think something. I am a firm believer that anyone should be able to design. I said that in the last video. I think anyone should be able to create something, but I also think that we need to be compensated fairly for that. And I also think that it's going to come with changes in the industry that are going to come from us making those changes. So for me, yeah, I'm going to do a tester run. I already said I was going to for this, right? Toxic Fox has already asked about it, and that's another thing. Like, I was talking to Toxic Fox yesterday about the Wild Oleander hood, and not once was I like, give me the pattern. I was just like, is it worth the money? Is it cool? And they were like, yeah, I love their work. I love their designs. They put a lot out. Plus, Wickedly Handmade has like a whole Facebook group just dedicated to that pattern with variations, and they'll post videos on their reels and stuff of like, oh, this is how you do it with a tighter like mouthpiece over it, or like a bigger hood, or like a different drape, and that's all in the Facebook group. And if you think that paying $7 to be a part of that forever is expensive, like, we need to have a different conversation about the hobby. I want to see this art form survive. I want to see fiber arts do better, especially in the political climate that we're in right now. I think people need to be doing other things that bring them joy, but I don't think that they, as designers and whatnot, should have to sacrifice the ability to eat or have rest or be compensated for what they're doing. Like, I'm doing this on top of other work. I'd be able to do a lot more and get a lot more done if I didn't have to work my day job, but in order to do that, I'd have to be compensated. Like, this isn't the Renaissance anymore, you know what I mean? Like, people aren't paying me to paint the Sistine Chapel. I would love it if they would. I mean, in shameless plug, I do have a Patreon, so you can support me there if you want, so I can continue doing this and make more stuff and give more details. But we don't live in a world where artists are just paid fairly for what they're doing right now. And I think that's a conversation that's going to come with time and with us actually putting the effort in to change it. So, that being said, don't steal people's patterns. Don't tell them they're gatekeeping because you don't want to pay for it. Become more comfortable saying, hey, that's not something I can afford right now. Because there's no shame in that. Like, you not being able to afford something isn't a problem. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks and it's frustrating, but there's no fault to that. Like, you're not a bad person because you can't afford a $10 pattern. But telling the artist that it's overpriced and they shouldn't be charging that much makes you a bad person. Sorry, not sorry. That's the Threads rant for this week. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts with it? We are obviously doing our best as artists to make things, and I think we just need to be better about not being shitty to artists. Like, there's already so much going on right now. Artists don't deserve that on top of it. Anyway, what's your opinion in the comments? I'd love to know. While we just have a little chit chat and crochet. Actually, after talking about all that, I'm real parched. So I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna go get some drinks, a beverage, and then we'll be back later to check the progress on this. Maybe. Whatever. Surprise, you're in my cabinet again. I want some electrolytes, and I just tried to get up and walk to the kitchen, and it wasn't working because my leg went numb. And I don't know if you've ever tried to walk on a leg that's numb, but was a challenge. I thought I was gonna die. I'm like trying to get through the kitchen, wasn't working. I do want some ice in this too. Let me grab that. ASMR. Some flavor in my brewing cup. But while this is happening and I'm like figuring all of this stuff out, this was mostly a chatty vlog, less of a crochet vlog. Sorry, but this is where we're at with this stuff. It's been a weird week, and this is how my timing and energy is. So we'll edit this and see what I can get out of it. And I will see you next time.